Look around you. This, right now, is your life. Not yesterday, not tomorrow. Today is the only day that truly exists. And in this single day, you hold the power to rewrite your entire story. Most people wait for the perfect moment to change, but that moment never comes. Life doesn't get better by accident, it gets better by decision. Decide today to become the kind of person your future self will thank you for. Start by stripping away the noise. Delete distractions, walk away from toxic influences, and silence the voices that say, "You can't." You don't need permission to rise. You only need courage to start. Take out a blank page and write down who you want to be, what you want to build, and how you want to live. That clarity is the foundation of your transformation. Create a plan even if it's messy. Act on it immediately. Change doesn't wait for readiness. It rewards action. Yes, it will be hard. Yes, it will be uncomfortable. But nothing is heavier than regret. So make today the day you burn the old script and write a new one. You don't need another year to change your life. You just need one bold day. And that day is today. Radical self-awareness is the first and most crucial step to fixing your entire life in a single day. Before you can change anything around you, you must be brutally honest about what's happening inside you. Most people drift through life reacting to circumstances, blaming luck, or comparing themselves to others, but they rarely stop to ask the hard questions. Who am I really? What am I doing with my time? What am I becoming? This silence between your actions is where the truth lies, and truth is the starting point of transformation. To practice radical self-awareness, you must be willing to confront the uncomfortable. It's not about judging yourself, it's about understanding yourself. You can't build a new life on top of lies you tell yourself. If you feel stuck, admit it. If you've been procrastinating, call it what it is. If you've been living by other people's expectations instead of your own, acknowledge it. The sooner you face reality, the faster you can rise above it. Denial delays growth, honesty accelerates it. Imagine standing in front of a mirror that reflects not your appearance, but your mindset, your habits, your fears, and your patterns. What would you see? Would you see discipline or distraction, confidence or self-doubt, purpose or confusion? Radical self-awareness is about standing in front of that invisible mirror and refusing to look away. It's about choosing to see clearly even when what you see is painful. Because pain can be a teacher, but only if you're willing to learn. Start by dissecting your daily life. Where does your time go? Who do you spend it with? What are the things that drain you, and what are the things that energize you? Many people say they want success, yet they spend most of their hours on things that don't build them, don't challenge them, and don't serve their future. They stay busy but not productive, connected but not fulfilled, moving but not progressing. Self-awareness forces you to measure the difference between activity and achievement. Then look deeper into your emotions. What triggers your frustration? What ignites your excitement? What makes you jealous? And why? Your emotional reactions are signposts pointing to your hidden beliefs. If you feel angry when others succeed, it may mean you don't yet believe in your own potential. If you feel tired all the time, it may mean you are working against your natural strengths instead of with them. Self-awareness requires the courage to decode these signals rather than ignore them. Question the stories you tell yourself. Every person carries an inner narrative. I'm not good enough. I always fail. I'm unlucky. People don't support me. These stories shape your behavior and limit your possibilities. Radical self-awareness means identifying which stories are false, who planted them in your mind, and deciding which new story you will choose to live by. You are not the voice of your doubts. You are the author of your identity. And finally, be aware of your values. Ask yourself what you truly care about, not what you've been told to care about. Many chase money, fame, or approval without asking whether these things actually bring meaning. When you align your actions with your real values, life becomes simpler. Every decision becomes clearer. Every challenge becomes fuel rather than friction. Without values, success feels empty. With values, even small steps feel like progress. Self-awareness draws the blueprint for who you can become, because you cannot aim at a target you refuse to see. Once you become radically self-aware, the next leap is to create a decisive mindset shift. This is the moment you stop living as a passenger and start steering your own life. Most people don't fail because they lack talent, resources, or opportunities. They fail because they never make a final decision about who they will become. They live in a constant state of hesitation, half committed, always waiting for a perfect sign, a perfect time, a perfect guarantee. But perfection never comes. What transforms a life in a single day is not gradual waiting. It is the instant clarity of a decision that leaves no room for turning back. A decisive mindset is built on the understanding that commitment comes before confidence. You don't wait to feel ready, you decide, and then you build yourself to match that decision. Waiting for courage is like waiting for fire before striking the match. Action creates belief. When you draw a line and say, from today onward, I will no longer live like I used to, something powerful shifts internally. Your brain stops treating change as an option and begins treating it as your new identity. To shift your mindset decisively, you must first destroy the habit of indecision. Indecision is silent poison. It drains your energy, clouds your focus, and erodes your self-respect. Every time you delay a choice, you strengthen the voice of doubt. Every time you make a firm choice, you strengthen the voice of power. Decide quickly, act boldly, and correct along the way. Successful people are not always right. They are simply decisive, and their speed of decision builds momentum that others mistake for luck. You must also stop asking for external validation. A decisive mindset is born when you stop seeking permission and start trusting your inner compass. The world will always offer opinions, doubts, and distractions, but you cannot build your future on borrowed voices. People who keep asking, "What do you think I should do?" stay stuck in circles. People who declare, "This is what I will do," create new paths where none existed. When your decision is real, you don't argue about it, you act on it. Train your mind to treat commitment as a contract. Write your decision down. Speak it out loud. Tie it to your identity, not your mood. Moods change, but identities persist. If you say, "I will try," your brain leaves an exit door. If you say, "I will," your brain begins engineering the path forward. Decisiveness locks the door behind you and forces your potential to move forward. Many breakthroughs don't come from better strategies, they come from burning the bridges that keep you tied to your old ways. A decisive mindset also means shifting your relationship with fear. Fear will not disappear just because you've chosen a new path. It will grow louder because fear always rises when you are close to growth. But fear is not a stop sign, it is a signal that you are entering new territory. The decisive mind doesn't try to erase fear, it acts despite fear. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the choice to move forward while fear screams in the background. The day you make a decision so clear that fear loses its power to stop you, you break the cycle that has kept you small, and you must change how you see failure. A decisive mind knows failure is not final, it is feedback. Each attempt, each mistake is simply information that brings you closer to the right path. People who fear failure stay frozen. People who decide they will succeed no matter how many times they fall eventually become unstoppable. This shift in perspective creates emotional resilience because your self-worth is no longer tied to single results, it is tied to relentless progress. When your identity shifts from, "I hope this works," to "I will make this work," every obstacle becomes a stepping stone instead of a wall. Once the decision is made, the next vital step is to simplify your life. Complexity is the enemy of execution. Most people remain stuck not because they are incapable, but because their lives are cluttered with unnecessary noise, distractions, and obligations that scatter their focus and dilute their energy. To fix your life in one day, you must clear the chaos that has kept you trapped in cycles of delay and confusion. Simplicity is not about having less, it is about removing what does not serve your purpose so that what matters can finally breathe. Start by auditing your environment. Look at where you live, where you work, and where you spend your time. Every physical space you inhabit either supports your goals or suffocates them. Cluttered surroundings create cluttered thinking. A messy desk breeds hesitation. A chaotic schedule breeds stress. Order creates clarity, and clarity fuels action. Remove the objects that hold no value, clean the spaces where you want to think clearly, and organize the tools that will help you execute fast. When your environment becomes intentional, your mind stops wasting energy on chaos and starts focusing fully on creation. Then simplify your commitments. Most people say yes too often, scattering their time on obligations that neither align with their goals nor bring them joy. They carry the weight of other people's expectations and end up exhausted without progress. Every yes to something meaningless is a no to something essential. To simplify your life, you must master the art of saying no without guilt. Protect your time like it is your greatest currency, because it is. Every hour you give away without purpose is an hour stolen from your future. Strip away tasks that do not build your vision, and your progress will accelerate like never before. Simplify your digital world. The modern mind is drowning in notifications, endless scrolling, and constant comparisons. The more screens demand your attention, the less attention you have left for building the life you want. Delete apps that waste your focus. Turn off notifications that steal your mornings and hijack your nights. Stop chasing every piece of information and start consuming only what fuels your growth. A simplified digital space creates mental silence, and in that silence, powerful ideas can finally emerge. Focus on your relationships. Many people stay stuck because they are surrounded by noise disguised as friendship. Some people drain you with negativity, gossip, or constant doubt, and yet you keep them close out of habit. But your environment shapes your identity, and your identity shapes your future. Simplifying your life means choosing people who push you to grow, who challenge you to rise, and who support your journey even when it's uncomfortable. Distance yourself from the voices that keep you small and invest deeply in the voices that remind you who you can become. Cut complexity from your goals. Most people overwhelm themselves by trying to fix everything at once, building long lists that paralyze them before they even begin. The human brain thrives on clarity and chokes on overload. Choose 3 priorities that will move your life forward the fastest and forget the rest for now. Focus creates momentum, and momentum creates results. The more simple your plan, the easier it becomes to execute it consistently. Success does not come from doing more things. It comes from doing fewer things with absolute intensity. Even your thinking must be simplified. Overthinking is the great thief of progress. Every time you replay the same questions, doubts, and fears in your head, you spend energy without producing movement. Train your mind to replace endless analysis with immediate action. Simplicity is clarity, and clarity creates power. When you eliminate the clutter of distractions, obligations, and mental noise, you free the energy trapped inside confusion and direct it like a laser toward the life you are building. After stripping away distractions and simplifying your life, you must anchor yourself in something deeper, your core values. Without values, achievement feels hollow. Without values, progress has no direction. Most people chase goals without ever questioning if those goals align with who they truly want to be, and that is why they reach milestones yet still feel empty. Fixing your life in one day requires more than new plans. It requires building on a foundation of principles that will not crumble under pressure. Core values are that foundation. They are the internal compass that will guide you through chaos, temptation, and uncertainty when everything around you shifts. Defining your values starts with brutal honesty about what matters to you, not what society praises, not what others expect, but what lights your soul on fire. Ask yourself, if I remove the noise of comparison, what would I still care about? If everything I owned was taken from me, what kind of person would I still choose to be? These questions strip life down to its essence. Most people skip them, and that's why they climb ladders leaning against the wrong walls. Values protect you from chasing approval over authenticity. Write down the qualities you admire in others, the principles you want to embody, and the impact you want to have. Maybe it is integrity, resilience, creativity, discipline, compassion, or growth. Your list should not be long. Values are not meant to be countless. They are meant to be core. Too many values create confusion. A few deeply chosen ones create clarity. Think of them as the DNA of your future self. They are not just traits you hope to have, they are rules you will not break. Then define what each value means to you in action. A word without behavior is just decoration. If you value integrity, what does that look like on a Monday morning when things go wrong? If you value growth, how will you behave when you fail? If you value discipline, what will you do on the days you feel tired and unmotivated? Values must be lived, not just framed. They must show up in your choices, your habits, and your language. Otherwise, they remain empty slogans that fade under pressure. Once your values are clear, measure your current life against them. This is where transformation begins. Where are you living in alignment with your values, and where are you betraying them? Most inner conflict comes from living in contradiction. When your actions violate your values, you feel restless and uncertain, even if the world thinks you are winning. When your actions align with your values, you feel powerful even if results haven't come yet. This is how values create emotional stability. They make you feel successful from the inside out. Your values must also guide your decisions. Every opportunity will not be right for you. Every path will not match who you want to become. When you make decisions without values, you are tossed by moods, circumstances, and other people's opinions. But when you filter every choice through your values, your direction stays clear even in chaos. You stop asking, what is easiest? And start asking, what aligns with who I am? This shift saves years of wasted effort because it keeps you from chasing things that don't belong to you. Core values also shape how you handle relationships. Who you spend time with should reflect what you stand for. If you value honesty, stay close to people who speak truth even when it's hard. If you value growth, surround yourself with those who challenge you instead of those who comfort your excuses. Values are the silent boundaries that protect your energy and define your standards. They teach others how to treat you and remind you how to treat yourself. Living by values may cost you approval in the short term, but it builds unshakable self-respect in the long term, and that self-respect becomes the fuel that carries you through the storms on the way to your vision. Once your values are defined, you must translate them into action by setting non-negotiable goals. Goals give direction to your energy, but non-negotiable goals ignite commitment. Most people set goals casually as wishes or vague hopes, and that is why they treat them lightly and abandon them easily. Non-negotiable goals are different. They are not dreams you would like to achieve. They are decisions about what you will achieve no matter the difficulty, no matter the discomfort, no matter the doubt. They are rooted so deeply in your values that quitting is not even an option your mind entertains. To set non-negotiable goals, you must first decide which few outcomes will transform your life the fastest. Trying to achieve everything at once leads to scattered effort and diluted results. Focus creates power. Choose 2 or 3 monumental goals that, if accomplished, will make every other challenge easier or irrelevant. These are the pillars of your future. Write them down with precision. Vague goals create vague actions, but specific goals create specific momentum. Get healthier is vague. Lose 20 pounds in 90 days by training 5 days a week and tracking every meal is specific. Clarity eliminates hesitation. Then set deadlines. A goal without a deadline is just a wish dressed in fancy words. Deadlines create urgency, and urgency fuels discipline. The mind becomes resourceful when it knows time is finite. Choose timelines that challenge you, not timelines that comfort you. Growth is born from pressure. A deadline forces you to prioritize, to stop delaying, and to stop waiting for perfect conditions. When the clock is ticking, Excuses become irrelevant and progress becomes non-negotiable. Break your big goals into measurable milestones. The human brain loves progress, but it gets overwhelmed by massive targets. Milestones give you visible victories along the way, each one feeding your confidence and reinforcing your belief. When you see evidence that you are moving forward, motivation stops being something you chase and becomes something you generate. This structure turns your goals from distant fantasies into concrete realities you can track and conquer piece by piece. Make your goals visible and public. When you keep goals hidden in your head, they remain fragile and easy to ignore. When you write them down, speak them out loud, and declare them boldly, they become a contract. This visibility holds you accountable. It forces you to align your identity with your intentions. You begin to act like the person who achieves those goals, and that shift in identity is what drives lasting transformation. Public commitment adds weight, and that weight strengthens your resolve. Attach emotional meaning to each goal. Logic sets goals, but emotion achieves them. If your goal has no emotional weight, discipline will collapse when life gets hard. Ask yourself why this goal matters, what pain you will escape when you reach it, and what joy you will create by accomplishing it. Visualize the version of yourself who has already achieved it. How they stand, how they speak, how they live. Emotion ties your goals to your soul. When the vision is emotionally real, your mind becomes relentless in pursuing it. Finally, remove escape routes. Treat your goals like promises, not preferences. Non-negotiable means there is no back door. No, if it gets hard, I'll stop. No, I'll try until it's inconvenient. Trying leaves space for retreat, while deciding leaves only the path forward. Adjust strategies when needed, but never the commitment. When you burn the option to quit, you awaken hidden strength you didn't know you had. The mind becomes sharper, the body becomes stronger, and the spirit becomes unbreakable when it knows there is no way back and only one way forward. Once your non-negotiable goals are set, you must give them structure through a 90-day action plan. Big visions inspire you, but short timelines move you. Most people fail not because they lack ambition, but because they never convert ambition into a clear and immediate sequence of actions. They dream about the future while standing still in the present. A 90-day plan turns vague intention into urgent execution. 90 days is long enough to create powerful change and short enough to keep you intensely focused. It compresses your energy, forces clarity, and eliminates the illusion that you have endless time. Start by reverse engineering your big goal into quarterly outcomes. Ask yourself, what measurable result must I achieve in the next 90 days to prove I am on track? Be precise. If your goal is to build a business, what specific milestone defines success after 90 days? Launching a product, gaining 100 customers, generating 10,000 in revenue. If your goal is personal transformation, what measurable change will mark progress? Losing 15 pounds, reading 12 books, mastering a new skill. Your brain needs a clear target to pursue, not a cloud of wishes. Then break that 90-day target into monthly checkpoints. Each month becomes a chapter in the story you are writing. This structure prevents overwhelm because you no longer stare at the mountain. You focus on the path right in front of you. Define what must be completed by the end of month 1, month 2, and month 3. Each checkpoint should be concrete, visible, and measurable. It is easier to stay disciplined when you can see exactly how far you have come and how close you are to the next milestone. Next, slice each month into weekly missions. This is where your plan becomes actionable. A week is small enough to control, yet large enough to make visible progress. Decide what 3 key actions will move you closer to your monthly checkpoint every week. Do not flood your schedule with dozens of tasks. Simplicity fuels execution. Focus only on the few critical actions that create the greatest impact. Write these weekly missions down and review them every morning until they become non-negotiable habits. Once your weekly missions are set, design your daily rituals. A plan is only as strong as your daily behavior. What will you do each morning to prepare your mind? What will you do each evening to review your progress and plan tomorrow? Break your day into focused blocks of deep work, recovery, and learning. Protect these blocks with fierce discipline. Treat them like appointments with your future self. Every day executed with intention compounds into massive momentum over 90 days. Build accountability into your plan. Accountability multiplies commitment. Share your 90-day goal with someone you respect or document your progress publicly. Knowing that others are watching forces you to rise above excuses. It turns your plan into a promise. Accountability removes the escape routes your mind tries to build when discipline fades. It keeps your commitment alive even on the days you feel tired, discouraged, or distracted. Measure everything. What gets measured gets improved. Track your actions daily, review your progress weekly, and adjust your strategies monthly. Data reveals the truth your emotions try to hide. If something isn't working, change your approach without changing your commitment. If something is working, amplify it. Tracking keeps you objective. It protects you from drifting into aimless effort and keeps your focus locked on results. Over 90 days, these small daily wins will stack on top of each other, and the momentum will become unstoppable as your actions compound into visible transformation. Once your 90-day action plan is in place, the next critical step is to upgrade your environment. Your surroundings are not just background. They are active forces shaping your behavior, decisions, and mindset every single day. Most people try to change their lives while staying in environments that silently sabotage their efforts. They work hard on their goals while living in spaces filled with distraction, surrounded by people who drain them, and immersed in habits that anchor them to their old identity. If you want to transform quickly, you must create an environment that makes success easier and failure harder. Start by upgrading your physical space. Your surroundings either pull you toward discipline or push you toward delay. A cluttered desk breeds procrastination. A chaotic bedroom breeds mental fog. A messy kitchen breeds unhealthy choices. Every physical item around you sends a signal to your brain. If you want focus, build a space that whispers focus. Clean it, organize it, and strip it down to only the essentials that serve your mission. Surround yourself with tools, visuals, and reminders that reinforce the person you are becoming. Let your space speak your goals louder than your doubts. Then evaluate your digital environment. Most people carry 1,000 distractions in their pockets and wonder why they can't concentrate. Every notification you receive is a hook pulling your mind away from what matters. Every pointless scroll drains the energy you need for execution. Upgrade your digital environment by decluttering it just as ruthlessly as your physical one. Remove apps that waste your attention. Block websites that feed distraction. Turn off notifications that interrupt your flow. Replace entertainment-driven content with education-driven content that sharpens your mind. Your phone should be a weapon, not a weakness. Examine the people around you. Human energy is contagious. The attitudes, habits, and mindsets of the people you spend time with will either lift you higher or pull you back into mediocrity. If your circle normalizes excuses, comfort, and complaining, you will absorb those patterns no matter how ambitious you are. Upgrade your environment by upgrading your relationships. Seek out people who challenge you, who demand excellence from themselves and expect it from you, who see your potential and refuse to let you shrink from it. Proximity to greatness rewires your standards. The right environment makes discipline feel normal and ambition feel natural. Upgrade your routines and surroundings to align with peak performance. Design your mornings to spark clarity and your nights to restore energy. Place your workout clothes where you can see them. Keep a water bottle on your desk to stay hydrated. Prepare healthy meals in advance to eliminate decision fatigue. Small physical cues create powerful behavioral shifts. Environment shapes action more reliably than willpower. When success becomes the path of least resistance, consistency becomes effortless. Even the language you hear every day is part of your environment. Words carry energy. If your surroundings are filled with negative conversations, constant complaints, or self-doubt disguised as advice, your mind will echo those words even when you are alone. Feed your environment with powerful language. Play empowering speeches, read inspiring books, and write affirmations where you can see them. Build a mental atmosphere that speaks to your future, not your fears. The words that surround you shape the thoughts that guide you, and those thoughts will silently direct your choices until your reality reflects them. Finally, protect your environment with fierce boundaries. A strong environment is not built once, it is maintained daily. Guard your time from people who waste it, guard your energy from habits that drain it, and guard your focus from distractions that erode it. Treat your environment like sacred ground for your potential. Every element of it must support your rise. Every detail must serve your growth. Every corner must remind you who you are becoming and what you are building. With your environment upgraded, the next crucial step is to master self-discipline.